Hi neighbors, I'm Diane here in my little kitchen at I Reckon So Farm, and today we're going to have some fun with some jam and jelly making shenanigans. We're going to start with grape jelly that we're making from a store-bought juice, and then we'll be making some strawberry jam from strawberries that we grew here on the farm, and we've been saving them in the freezer till we had enough to make some jam. And the third recipe will be for Apricot Pineapple Jam. We got these crushed apricots from the sister of a neighbor friend of ours who lives where she grows apricots on her property, and she knows how we like that apricot pineapple jam, so she saved some for me. So 3 different kinds. Some of them I'll be making in these tiny jars to have on hand for Christmas gifts. It'd be fun to have a few different kinds of jelly and jam in these little jars. At least that's something I'd like to get for Christmas. So let's get started with the grape jelly first. I've got the jars warming up. I've got my pot here on the stove. I never made grape jelly this way until recently when Dayton, my granddaughter, and I had volunteered to do a jelly making class at the Lapine Grange to show people that had never made jelly how to do it. And we were scheduled for sometime the beginning of spring, and there were no berries, there was no fruit yet. And so I decided to go buy some juice, and we got grape juice. And really easy recipe, simple to make. It's 100% juice, no added sugar, and very delicious. Everybody got to take a jar home with them that was at the class, and then there was one left over that we got to bring home. But that's all I had, one little jar. So I've been wanting to make some more because Paul really liked it too. And so we'll do that today. All right, so let's get started. The recipe calls for 5 cups of juice. That's 4. And 1 more. Then we're using Sure Gel Pectin. 1 packet. All right, 1 packet of pectin. Stir it into the juice right now. We want to bring it to a full rolling boil. Grape juice smells so good. Okay, we'll stir it occasionally. It'll take a little while to come to a boil. Then we'll add our sugar. It should make 5 or 6 half pints, and these are half of a half pint, so 4 ounces, I believe. So I'm not exactly sure how many that will make, but we have plenty of jars that have been heating up here. They've been washed and heated in some water on the stove, and then our lids are over here in hot water, and our rings are over here. All right, our juice has come to a full rolling boil, so now we're going to add our 6 cups of sugar all at once. Stir it in till the sugar's all dissolved, and then when it comes back to a full rolling boil, we'll set our timer for 1 minute. We have our water bath canner here heating up. All right, our juice, pectin, and sugar mixture has returned to a boil, so we'll set our timer for 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute is up. We'll shut off the heat and we'll push it off the burner. All right, next thing we want to do is skim the foam. The foam won't do any harm, but it just gives you a better looking final product without the foam. So I usually skim it off, like get as much off as I can. Okay, we got most of the foam off. Set that over here. All right, let's go ahead and fill our jars. Leave about a 1/4 inch headspace. Okay, the jars are all filled. We're going to wipe the rims here, make sure there's not anything sticky on there. Add the lids. Put our rings on. Oops. A little bit messy. Okay, we have our water bath canner is here heating up. Let's see how many jars this will hold. All of them, I hope. If we had only used the 1/2 pint jelly jars, we would have had 1, 2, 3, 5, about 8. But since we used the little jars, we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 11 altogether. Okay, so let's lower this down into the water. Try to get them to stand up. We want the water to cover the tops of the jars, so since we have these 3 taller jars, we're going to need a lot more water. So let's go ahead and fill that up. Okay, the water is over the top of the jars. When the water in our water bath canner comes to a boil, we'll set the timer for 10 minutes. And the jars will be in the water bath canner for 10 minutes boiling. And when the timer goes off, our jelly's done. While we wait for the water bath canner, let's get started on the strawberry jam. We need 5 cups. We need to match the berries and then measure out 5 cups. We like it to be a little chunky, but the food processor's a quick and easy way to mash them up. And it looks like we're going to have almost exactly the right amount.
Not really.
What do we have? What is that, 5?
One was.
Okay, so perfect.
So there's 5 cups
All right.
of berries.
Now the recipe's the same. We'll add the pectin. We'll put it in the pot to come to a boil. We'll add 7 cups of sugar. Bring it back to a boil. Boil for 1 minute. I like to put the strawberry jam in pint jars just because we use it so fast. We use a lot when we have it. So we'll put it in the bigger jars. The water in our water bath canner has come to a boil. So we'll set our timer for 10 minutes. And while that's boiling, let's go back to our strawberries. Okay. We'll bring our strawberries and pectin to a boil. And when that happens, we'll add our 7 cups of sugar. Okay, that's it. 10 minutes is up. I turned off the heat. Let's slide this off the burner. There we go. Okay. Pick our jars up. Hear them popping already? That's a good sound. There we are. That. Beautiful grape jelly. Most of it sealed already, just as it was coming off the heat. Okay, let's get the strawberry going. Get it to a boil. Then we'll add the sugar. It's really a great way to do some batches of jam and jelly because our water bath canner's still hot. So we may as well use it again for another batch, which is what we're going to do. I've got my jars heating up. The lids are in hot water. Okay. strawberries and pectin are boiling, so we're going to add our 7 cups of sugar. Stir it in. When this returns to a boil, we'll set the timer for 1 minute. In the meantime, I'm going to scoop my grape jelly to the back here out of the way. We're making good progress. I think I'll put the lid on here to keep that good and hot for a nice batch. It's returned to a boil, so we set the timer for 1 minute. Slide this off the heat. Skim the foam off. We'll let it cool down a little bit and then we'll get the foam. You can add a pat of butter to your jam or jelly mixture to keep the foam down. I don't usually do that because I don't mind skimming the foam off. It doesn't take too long. Leave it if you want. It looks a little nicer if it doesn't have that foam on the top of it, but it doesn't affect the taste. Okay. All right. Let's get this in the jars. My ladle. I want to be sure and get a couple of these little jars in case I want them at Christmas time. Okay. I think I'm going to this one that's not quite full. We might have that on our toast in the morning. Swipe the tops. Our lids. Put our rings on. For the apricot pineapple, I did have a container of pineapple chunks in the cupboard. So I'm going to put that in the food processor and grind it up a little bit, because the apricots, we only had 3 cups. So if I can come up with 2 cups of pineapple to equal 5 cups, we'll be good to go. There we go, it's boiling. We set the timer for 10 minutes. Okay, and our last jam for the day is our apricot pineapple. 5 cups of apricot and crushed pineapple. I think I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon to this. It just sounds like that would be good. Here's my cinnamon. Here we go. Just a little bit. Okay. We'll add the pectin, bring it to a boil. We're going to do the same process we used for the other 2 batches. This is going to be so good. All right. It's been 10 minutes. Let's move this off the heat. Sometimes it looks like the fruit wants to float to the top, and if that happens, all you need to do when you open the jar, just give it a good stir to redistribute everything. No worries. Look at that. 4 pints of strawberries. Do you hear that clicking sound? It's already wanting to seal. We've got our grape and our strawberry all done. Next is the apricot pineapple. Okay, I took a little break, but now it's time to move on to sweet shenanigan number 3, apricot pineapple jam. I've got it in the pot here. It's in the pot here, and I'm going to add the pectin. We'll stir this in, and when it comes to a boil, we'll add our 7 cups of sugar. This is really going to smell good once it heats up. Got our jars here. Not sure how many we'll need, but we have plenty. I'm going to do at least one of the little ones to save for Christmas time. And our lid's over here. Here you can see what we've done already. The grape is in the back, and the strawberry. And you know what? That one didn't seal. Doggone it. That's okay though. We'll eat that one first. Okay, I think we're there. Let's add the sugar. Oh. Whoa, that's a lot of sugar. Okay, we'll get this all stirred in, and then bring it back to a boil. Set the timer for 1 minute, using the same recipe for all these different fruits. It's a good one. It works great with this pectin. It's starting to bubble. Okay, set the timer for 1 minute. There's a little bit of foam here that I want to scoop off. All right, there's our hot jars. Let's go ahead and fill them up. What a pretty color. Okay, for the apricot pineapple, we ended up with 3.5 pints and 2 of the little guys. So let's wipe the rims. Okay, let's lower the basket down and we'll see if we have enough water to cover the tops of the jars. I did need to add a little bit of water. Let's put the lid on. When it comes to a full boil, we'll set the timer for 10 minutes in the water bath. Okay. That's the last batch done. Oops. Timer off. See if I can slide this over off of the burner. Okay, there we go. Ooh. Oop. I hear them popping already. We're a little guy. Okay. There we are. There they are. Isn't that beautiful? Well, how about that? 2 batches of jam and 1 batch of jelly all in one morning. Wow. Thank you for stopping by to share this shenanigan. It was really fun. We'll see you next time.